Let's get started, shall we? So first of all, welcome. This is the Accountability Lab. In the next 30 minutes, I'm going to share with you exactly what the Accountability Lab is all about. And I'm going to share with you some tips that we've learned about personal accountability along the way. Lab 1 has been running. We are in week 38 right now. Who would have ever thought that? But for those of you who don't know me, my name is Jan Griffiths. I'm the president and founder of Griffiths Detroit, which is a leadership development company. I am the podcast host of the Finding Gravitas Authentic Leadership podcast and the creator of the Accountability Lab. So, and a little crazy on top of all of that. But my background is mostly automotive. I've been in the corporate world for over 30 years. I left my corporate job just over 2 years ago to start my business. And I was just getting some traction and everything was going just great. And then COVID hit. Ouch. So all the business that I had managed to get was pretty much wiped out overnight. And I thought, okay, what do we do now? I reinvented myself once. I guess I could do it again and try to reinvent this business and make it work. So one day I was talking to my good friend, Anita Cable, who is on the call today. And Anita is a business coach. She is a scaling up coach. And I was talking to her about the business and about my personal accountability. And what I mean by that is, I didn't want to get up in the morning when the pandemic hit. I was hitting the snooze button, and I'm the one who literally stands on stage, inspiring audiences, telling people, don't hit the snooze, get up in the morning, make a commitment to yourself, take on the day. And here I was rolling over, hitting the snooze button. And I thought, oh, this is terrible. I was sitting in front of the TV, watching the news, watching the death counter, couldn't really get motivated, had lost some of that energy that I used to have, which, drove me crazy. And I couldn't seem to get it together. There was no routine. There was no people, no client meetings, no nothing. So I was talking to Anita and I said, listen, let's do something. Let's get a call together because I'm sure other people are feeling the same way. And then let's see if people want to join us, great. If they don't, that's okay too. But let's see if we can help each other through this and help get some sort of a morning routine together. So that's what we did. And we called it the Accountability Clinic because we figured it was a place to go for people to get help, right? To get this sort of routine and get moving in the morning. So we had about 4 or 5 people that joined. That was 38 weeks ago. And yesterday we had 12 people on the call. And just to make it a bit more interesting, because we wanted people who are really into personal development and growth, the first Lab 1 call is at 6:30 in the morning. So we've been meeting at 6:30 in the morning every weekday.
Shoot.
Who's dying of that? So for 38 weeks, we've been doing this. And we basically do 3 things. We make a work commitment. So a commitment for business for that day, a personal commitment. So whether it's yoga, go for a walk, whatever it is. And then 1 word to describe the mindset that we're going to hold for that day. Now, that might sound so ridiculously simple to you. And you're going, really? That's it? Unbelievably powerful. I was shocked myself how powerful it actually is. But here's some of the facts behind it. When you make a commitment to yourself in your head that you're going to do something, there's about a 14% chance that you're going to do it. If you write it down, there's about a 45% chance that you're going to do it. When you verbalize it and make that commitment to others in a group, you're 85%, north of 85%, more likely to achieve it. And it works. We added into this the fact that we wanted a supportive environment to encourage people because, look, we're all human beings.
Oh, no.
Right? We all fall off the wagon. So what we do is we create this community of support. And you've got to be honest in this group. You've got to be transparent. You've got to show up like a human being. We show up as our authentic selves group one is at 6:30 in the morning. So we show up. I mean, there's hair is not done. You just literally get out of bed, roll in front of the camera. It's the first time I see myself in the morning is this group of people. And then we go through and we make those 3 commitments, and then we come back the next day and we say either we did it or we didn't. You got to be honest. This isn't a work environment. You know, this is a very supportive, coaching, encouraging environment. There's no judgment. Nobody's going to stick their finger in your eye and say, I'm holding you accountable for these numbers and these metrics. And if you don't do it, you know, I'm going to fire you, or I'm going to do something horrible to you. I don't know. Cut your bonus, whatever. It's not that. The accountability is about making a commitment to yourself and following through. And then ever so gradually, small incremental steps of improvement, raising the bar a little bit at a time. And you know what? When you fail, it's all okay, because you come back to the group, you understand what happened, and then we move on and we reset the goal and we set new goals and we keep moving forward. It's all about moving forward, growth, keeping things going, getting better as a group, supporting each other. That's what we've been doing for 38 weeks. So the group said to me about 6 weeks ago, you have got to open another one. You have got to open a second lab. So we opened lab number 2. And since it is my business now, I don't do this for fun anymore, although it is a lot of fun. So it is a subscription-based model. So we opened lab number 2, and we are on week 4 of lab number 2. And lab number 2 starts at 7:07 in the morning, Eastern Standard, and we're done by 7:30. Now we're opening lab number 3 on the West Coast in January, and that will start in the morning at 7:37 Pacific time, and that opens up on January the 4th. So I want to take a break here and go to some of the members who are currently in the accountability group so that they can share a little bit of their experience with you. So Joy, do you want to take the lead?
Yeah, hello everybody. How you doing? I am so much more awake at 3 o'clock in the afternoon than at 6:30 in the morning. And I can tell you, I was not on the call this morning. I was having a rough night. I got to bed late, and then I just couldn't get up in the morning. But I know that my lab partners will be there tomorrow morning, and they'll say, it's okay, Joy, you just got to get back on the wagon. So I joined the lab in week 13. I am right now 261 days working from home. I work for a company that is completely disconnected. I don't have any mentors. I don't have any strong managers. I don't have any coworkers that I deal with regularly. And by week 13, I was an extremely sad and fairly needy woman who's just sitting here on Zoom calls going, you know, I wish I had purpose like these other people I'm listening to. Jan was on a call that I was on with Katia, and she said, hey, Joy, you should show up to the accountability lab tomorrow. I'm like, oh, okay. So I checked in at 6:30 in the morning, and I realized that this group of people who had already been together for these 13 weeks, that they did this every day. Like 5 days a week, every day at 6:30 in the morning, they were in. I'm like, okay, I think I'll try it. That was 25 weeks ago. And the accountability lab is now a place where I'm accounted for. What I like to say is, I know you're kind of hearing my husband in the background. We're working from home in the same space. But one of the things that I said to Jan a few weeks in was, the best thing about the lab for me is I'm accounted for. In a world where I was so disconnected, the accountability lab is now my connection with people who kind of know my everyday stuff. And it's more powerful, it's more meaningful than I could have ever anticipated. So I believe in Jan's experiment. I believe in the accountability lab, and I am thrilled that she's considering and offering this for other people, because I think the benefits are just amazing.
Thank you, Joy. And if you're wondering, who exactly is this for, right? It's for everybody that's a human being that has a pulse, that wants to improve themselves and grow. So there's no title, there's no there's no function, no company, no industry silo, nothing. We've got people in the lab who are presidents of PR firms. We've got unemployed people. We've got engineers. We've got sales directors. We've got automotive. We've got friend of the court. We've got catering. We've got missionary. It's all over the map. So there's no requirement. You just have to be a human being who wants to improve and who's ready to make a commitment. And when we say make a commitment, there's no judgment with this. So, life happens, right? So if you can't show up one day because, I don't know, you have a child or a parent or somebody you have to take care of or something comes up, it's all okay. You never have to apologize. Remember, this isn't a work scenario, right? So you never come on the call and say, oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry I'm late. None of that. No, we're just all in this together trying to help each other. Lori Jo, would you share a little bit about your experience, please?
Sure. My name is Lori Jo Vest, and I have a digital marketing firm in Metro Detroit. And I just happened to see Jan on LinkedIn, and I went, ooh, I want some of that because I really liked her energy and her spark. And I, as an entrepreneur, it's, we're getting ready to go into a big growth spurt in 2021, and I've got to level up my game in order to make that happen. And one of the things I'd really been struggling with was a morning routine, because I'm one of those idea people. I got ideas all over the place, and the execution is a little more difficult. So when I saw Accountability Lab, I had been talking about, I'm going to create a morning routine. Yeah, I'm going to do that someday. And then I saw Accountability Lab, and there was my morning routine. And we're on our 4th week. Yeah. I feel such a cool connection to the other people on the call. And so you do develop this kind of camaraderie thing, and you get ideas from other people and support from other people. And I come off that call, it's only 23 minutes long, but I come off that call and it's like I've been up for hours. I am just motivated and energized, and it really is working for me, and I really appreciate it. I think it's an awesome thing to do if you're someone who really wants to level up what you're currently doing, either personally or professionally. It's wonderful support.
Yeah. Thank you, Lori Jo. And, some of the things that we talk about, we changed the name to Lab because we really experiment with personal accountability, because personal accountability is different for everybody. And it starts with how you talk to yourself. And there are many different ways that we deflect accountability, right? We blame other people. We come up with an excuse. We say, oh, that's just not important anymore. Or maybe the victim syndrome kicks in. We start off the day that we're going to do all these things, and then we talk ourselves out of them, because we never, ever do every single thing that we want to do every day. We're human. It doesn't happen. But we give ourselves excuses. And what this does is it helps us really understand how we're talking to ourselves in our head, what that voice is. And when you have to hold yourself accountable to other people and actually verbalize that out to other people, it really is a powerful sort of journey of discovery. I discovered I'm trying to quit sugar after dinner. I had no idea what an addiction that had become in my life. I order Oberweis by DoorDash, right? Now, if that isn't an addiction, I don't know what is. So I'm on a 21-day no sugar after dinner thing right now. And I realized that probably goes back to the old days when I was a smoker, something about rewarding myself after dinner. I don't know. All these things that just come up lately. So we play around with these things. What is the best way to get a good night's sleep? Meditation app, melatonin, reading, hot shower. And we talk about all these different things. And I'm going to share with you now, like, the top 7 tips for personal accountability. Don't worry about writing any of this down. I'll send it all through to you on a PowerPoint later. But number 1 is get a good night's sleep, right? Without that, you can't set up your day for success. Number 2 is make a very simple commitment and do it. That commitment could be as simple as setting your alarm and getting up. Because if you think about it, when you hit the snooze, you're giving yourself an excuse. You're making an excuse to yourself. And if you want to start your day by making an excuse to yourself, it's probably not a good way to start. In the military, they talk about, you make your bed when you get up. It's the same kind of thing. It's that psychological, you're programming your brain to achieve, to say, I'm going to get up, I'm going to do something, and then I'm going to do something else, and then I'm going to do something else, and then you build upon that achievement. 3, focus on the large tasks in the morning. Don't push the big things off till the afternoon. Your brain is more vigilant in the morning, and it's able to manage and control those distractions in the morning. By the time you get to the afternoon, it's really hard. If you start off with the little things in the morning, like the email and social media scrolling, forget it. It's really hard to get to the big stuff. Do the big stuff first in the morning. And then number 4 is schedule blocks of time. Don't chase a to-do list. And this is, if you're not used to doing this, this can be tricky to get used to. But what this means is this. So if I've got a client presentation to do, right, instead of putting it on a task list and moving it from one day to the next, to the next, to the next, because it's a big task, you block time for the next 3 days between 8 and 9 a.m. I am going to work on this big thing. Because if you chase a task list, that's all we're doing is we're chasing that dopamine hit to check the little things off the task list. Because we feel that sense of accomplishment, right? Don't do that. Focus on the big things in the morning. It'll make a huge difference. Schedule personal items and self-care. Schedule that you're going to go for a walk. Schedule yoga. Put it in your schedule. Otherwise, it won't happen. One thing we've learned is to drink lots of water throughout the day, particularly since we're all working from home now. We've learned that lesson the hard way. If you don't do it, you'll just feel bad. Simple, but it really helps. Sue's drinking water. I love that. And then claim a mindset in the morning when you get up. And it's not always, oh, I'm driven, I'm going to be productive, I'm high energy. Sometimes there are days to relax. Sometimes there are days to just be steady. Sometimes there are days to reset. Sometimes there are days when you're in a creative space. But claim that mindset in the morning. And that's what we do. We claim it and we verbalize it to the group in the morning. Those are 7 tips that we have learned in the lab that help personal accountability. They sound so simple, but they are so powerful. And you wrap those things in a community full of encouragement and support, and that's where the magic is. But now let's go to the co-creator of the Accountability Lab, my partner in crime, Anita. Anita, would you share your experience, please?
I certainly will. I've got 2 noisy teenagers in the background, so my apologies. That is our life now, isn't it? It's an overstatement to say I'm co-creator, Jan, because honestly, this is all your brainchild. And, with Jan, when she says she's going to do something, she actually does. So I couldn't say no once you'd come up with the idea, could I? But I would say back when we first started 38 weeks ago, probably the worst version of myself I'd ever been. I didn't recognize myself rolling out of bed at 9 a.m. and, nobody knew, nobody's watching. But I didn't feel good. And of course, it wasn't getting me anywhere. So I did take you up on that offer to of course, getting up at 6:30 in the morning, you kind of have to go to bed a bit earlier. So, a lot of good things happened in advance of it. But, I felt so bad at the time. But then you're getting up, getting on your game and just having one win. Even if nothing else great happens, all day, you've got one win on the board, and surely that's a better place to start from. But I think a lot of other amazing stuff has happened as a result of it too, for me personally. Even starting like when I'm just waking up, I'm always thinking about my word. What's my word going to be for today? Is that really the right thing? So I mull that over while I'm making my coffee or going for a jog or whatever I'm doing. And I totally agree with you, Joy. I'm really inspired by other people and what they're doing and how they're living their lives. And it's amazing to see how vulnerable people are and what they share and what we share, should I say. And I really, really appreciate seeing the other side of people's lives when they're not all perfect and made up, and the real deal. So I'm new to the US, I'm new to Detroit. And, so for me, having a network, not feeling so isolated as well as being isolated in COVID was so important. And as Jan said, we all help each other. It was amazing. What I've seen happen during the lab is really amazing. I mean, one person's written a book in 4 months. A couple of people have found jobs, various sort of large life-changing things as well. So, and I think that's really down to our network together. So I encourage you to give it a try if you, if you're ready for something new, something different. Get started in the morning and see what happens with the rest of your day. And thank you, Jan, for making that happen.
All right. Thanks, Anita. So the way this process works, as I said earlier, Lab 1 is closed to new members, so you can't get in the 6:30 call. I don't see too many people shedding a tear over that one. The lab that starts at 7:07 a.m. in Eastern time zone, that we still have a few slots open in Lab 2. And Lab 3, which is on the West Coast, will open January 4th, and that will start at 7:37 a.m. If you're interested and you want to try us out, we would love to have you join us. I'll send you the link on the website. You can look at basically what I've just talked about, and there's a sign up button. It is a subscription model. It's a monthly subscription. It's $49.99 a month. And there's no contract or anything like that. I mean, we operate on really trust and authenticity, right? If you don't like it, you're out. It's all good. There's no hard feelings, right? Because I honestly haven't lost anybody yet. We lost one member because when she came into the group, she was employed. She lost her job during COVID, and we helped her all the way through that difficult time. And then she ended up getting an amazing job. And so she's out of the lab right now. But, she'll come back in when she needs to. It's all good. There's no hard feelings. Again, there's no judgment. This isn't a corporate environment. This is not a work team. Nobody's going to judge you. Nobody's looking at your title. This is just human beings that want to grow and support each other and raise the bar together. It's a community of support and encouragement. And it's less than 30 minutes because we know people need to be off. Typically, calls can start at 7:30 in the morning. So people need to be in this, get it done, and then get out and get on with the day. So we'd love to have you join us. I will send you all the information following the call, or you can email me directly or contact me on LinkedIn, however you want to. My email is jan@gravitasdetroit.com. And we've got a few minutes for any questions in the chat. Or you can, actually, we have enough people. If just speak up, just unmute yourself and speak up. You got any? I'll stick your hand up so I can unmute you. Any questions? Jim Freya, you're not usually quiet. Come on, you've got to have a question.
Yeah, I was going to say we must have said all the right things if nobody's got a question. I am so glad about that.
I have a question.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Let's go Lakia and then Gail.
Okay. So, excuse me. When you talk about the word of the day, generally, like, what is a word of the day example?
Joy, do you want to take that?
Well, let me go to my trusty journal here. I write them down because they're just like a particular word. You might not have one in the morning. So somebody says something, you go, I like that one. Drive, limitless, jubilant, tranquil, spontaneous, conquer, purposeful. Adapt. So it's like really, and sometimes we play off each other where someone says, well, I'm really feeling grateful, and you might have had this, well, I want to be productive, but then you're like, no, I want to be grateful. Like, so we do play off each other as well.
Okay.
And there's no right or wrong. It just is the mindset that you have and that you want to hold for the day.
Got it.
And Lakia, you're welcome. Anybody is welcome. If you want to drop into Lab 2 at 7:07 Eastern Time just to check it out one day, you're welcome to do that. Just let me know.
Awesome. Thank you. I would love that.
Okay, Gail.
Well, you just answered my question, so
Okay.
we could drop in at least one to check it out before we actually, So, okay. Thank you.
Of course. Just email me or contact me, and we can sort that out. Any other questions?
I just like to add something that I think is really awesome about the groups. The one that I'm a part of is it's not always some crazy big thing like writing a book. Sometimes it's cleaning your refrigerator.
Yes.
Or taking a walk. I mean, it doesn't have to be big things. It's small things that make a difference over time. So.
Yeah, thank you, Laura Jo. And that's a really good point. This is all about small incremental steps of improvement. This is not about, taking on the world, right? This is about moving forward and getting better every single day. And I learned about this when I interviewed a Navy SEAL. His name is Nick Norris. And I said to him, Nick, how do you do this? He's this Navy SEAL, and then he runs, he run a race? I think it's called a rim to rim. It's like 53 miles or something. It's some crazy thing. And he does it like it's like a jog down the street. I said, how do you program your mind to do that? And he said, it's small incremental steps of improvement. I just get a little bit better every day. And that blew my mind. It's that simple, but you got to train your mind to make that commitment to get a little bit better every day. And then amazing things happen. So with that, have an amazing afternoon and evening. Thank you all for joining. Lovely to see everybody's face. I'll send you some follow-up emails, and we hope to see you in one of the labs.